All right, welcome to The Amazing Mama. This is your host, Marie Benson, and today I would love to talk to you about what things you can consider or questions to ask, or a little both, when you are hiring, quote unquote, hiring your OBGYN, when you're quote unquote hiring your pediatrician, and when you're quote unquote hiring your dentist for your little one. Okay, so I'm here to tell you, like, yes, you remember, you are a mom, you're momming like a boss, okay? And so when when you go to these medical professionals, like, it falls on us as moms, as parents, okay? It's not just moms, but parents in general, to like curate who these professionals are, right? So you have a choice, but just, you know what? It's such a daunting experience. Like, it's not like you can have pediatricians or doctors in general audition, right? I mean, you can, but it's not like you're sitting there and it's one after another. Obviously, you go to them, and if something's not like feeling right, or you feel like you need a second opinion, you should, and that's serious. So I want to really like lean into that first before we even get into a few things of, to consider. It's even just a few things that you should know about. The main thing is you are hiring these people. You're paying them good money, or your insurance is paying them good money, which is, it's still you paying money. Someone's paying them money, really good money, to do a job, an important job. And that job is to either take care of you or to take care of your little one, your baby, your little one, okay? So these are important things. Like, they should be someone you trust. And so what I'm saying is, the first thing that you need to understand is that it is within your power. It is up to you. You get to choose, who these professionals are in your life, in your children's life, in your family's life, okay? So if any point, that maybe you just feel like in your gut, you're not sure how to go about it, but you feel like, I could do better. Is there a way a doctor that is maybe better? Okay. And the answer is probably yes. And you don't have to think like, oh, this is not available. All you got to think is, well, can I just at least look around? And the answer is yes. And you don't have to tell your current doctor. It's not like you're dating your, pediatricians and what, you don't owe them anything is what I'm saying, right? They're busy doing their job, hopefully, and getting through that, because it's a tough world out there. I'm not saying things are not tough for doctors. They very much are. I know it, but it doesn't mean you don't deserve less than what's best for your child. So it is first and foremost and middle and lastly up to you, if something's not right, or if you think it could be better, look for better. Don't settle. Okay? If you haven't found it, you keep looking. That's a saying that I've heard before. Okay? It's probably about your soulmate, referring initially to your soulmate, but it's just as true. And you have the power to hire them and fire them. And again, it's not like you're firing them to their face like you would as like an executive, but you don't have to live like that. So whether you kind of come across these feelings you're on your own, or you kind of ask around and you're like, this doesn't seem right, I need more affirmation. Yeah, okay? And here's the other thing, because this all comes down to people pleasing also, which I talk about in the academy. We do a little bit of a lesson in it, because really it's a simple thing to break, and it's all about listening to your intuition. Kind of give you a spoiler on people pleasing, but we'll do it in another podcast here, or YouTube channel, okay, recording. But the thing is, people pleasing is the worst. Like, being having common decency, being a nice human being, that's one thing. Being polite, I think you have to have that. All right, we have to practice that as humans to each other. We have to just want less and kind of have compassion a little bit more. But anyways, all right, here's what happens. If you get stuck in a situation with a doctor, right, because that's what we're talking about right now, but you could apply this to anything. If you get stuck in a situation that you don't like, you're not sure about, you think it could be better, whatever it is up to you to see what's out there. And a lot of times what holds us back is our people-pleasing disease, The Disease to Please. That's a book. I've never read it, but I probably should. Okay. But it is, it is. It's not your fault. It comes from a generational pattern curse, and it's not necessarily their fault either. Like somebody down the line did it to survive. And I value that and I honor that, but things have changed. Okay? And again, being nice is one thing, but that's not what people pleasing is. Like if something is going on, if you think you could have better when it comes to having a doctor or something's not quite right, get the heck out of there. Just run. You are not hurting anybody's feeling. And you have to think, this is what helps me break the people-pleasing curse, is ask yourself what the alternative is. First, you ask yourself, does it have to be like this? Could you look elsewhere? Could you ask questions? The answer is always yes. Okay? It is. And the second thing is, what's the alternative? The alternative is that you have crappy medical attention? Your baby has crappy medical attention? Or just not as good? Like you could have better? Okay? And it doesn't even have to, let me say this here. It doesn't even have to be that something bad happened to look elsewhere. Maybe you just want to know what else is out there. Maybe nothing happened and you just have, And here's what happens in people pleasing is that we feel the need to justify it to ourselves. Because again, your doctor is not asking, why aren't you coming to this facility anymore? It's never have, you know what I mean? No one's ever asked that. But I tell you, I'm at the point where I would be honest, for sure. Okay? I recently am looking for a new dentist for my daughter. Okay? Last dentist, super nice, but was not a right fit for me. Okay? It was just not great. Okay? Again, super nice, didn't do anything wrong per se. It just didn't, I can't explain it, right? I can't explain it, and I don't have to. I'm not going to explain it to myself. So I am going to shop elsewhere. And that's the thing. When things bad happen, it's sometimes it's easier to move on and to get out of situations that are crappy because they're so bad. But we want to get out before that happens. And was my mom intuition that this was not a right fit for us. And I asked myself, are there other dentists? Yes. Could I at least explore and see? Maybe we go back to that dentist. Maybe everybody else is so god awful that this person is the best. Okay, it's as good as it gets. But I'm sure as heck not going to stick around and just wait. I'm going to go find out, right? I'm going to see what there is out there, a better option. Ask my friends, hey, who do you see? Okay, so the number one culprit of people pleasing, or reason why you can't escape it or why you keep doing it, is because of you. Who's asking you to justify why you don't want to keep working with a certain doctor? Nobody's asking you that. But you maybe feel bad, right? You feel bad. For whatever reason, you feel bad. Oh, they might, hurt their feelings. But those things are not true. And again, the alternative, okay, maybe they are. Worst case scenario, they are true. But then the alternative is, again, you suffer. And maybe your family suffers. No thanks. Okay, so here's a few things to think about. And it's just a few things, just little things that will maybe change your world, change your mind, okay? Because I don't know everything, but I know what has changed my mind, right? And I want to share that with you. But this was people pleasing 101, and then a little bit about, obviously, what's to consider. So when it comes to when you are expecting mom, okay, first of all, what you want to do is do your best. And again, this is trial and error. So whoever you decide on first doesn't mean that's the last person you're with. If for whatever reason, okay, you can go and see other people. We just talked about this, okay? But I just want to say that, whoever you pick first, you might change your mind later. But just pick someone, because when you go to the hospital, they do ask you, oftentimes they ask you, not necessarily the dentist one, and it depends on the hospital. But at some point, someone is going to ask you, hey, who's their dentist, pediatrician, okay? They need to know those things. Am I missing one? No, those are the biggest ones. Yeah. Okay? But even with your OB-GYN, obviously. So something cool. Let me just tell you some cool things. This is what I would want and what I want in a pediatrician. First of all, I want my pediatrician to tell me things without me having to be the Sherlock Holmes of my medical conditions. Okay? Like, what I'm saying is, I want them to tell me what I don't know without me asking. I want them to teach me how to be a healthy mom, how to be a successful mom, or health, like, obviously it's my OB-GYN, so that kind of thing. Sorry, that's a pediatrician, you kind of asked them to. But I want them to tell me things that I don't know. They should educate me. They shouldn't assume that I magically know what to eat, what not to eat, okay? What to look like. I'm not born with the knowledge of what I should be keeping an eye out for. And if those X, Y, and Z things happen, then I should call the OB-GYN and check in with them. Okay? And depending on your age, so these are things, again, not just like things you should think about when you're hiring, but I want these ideas, I want these thoughts to be either questions that you ask or just in general thought-provoking so that you can think about it when you are meeting with your doctor every week, every other week, whatever your appointment is. Again, it depends on your age, right? And what's going on with your pregnancy and all that good stuff, okay? But you do need to be an advocate for yourself, because it doesn't matter what doctor's out there. The best one is still human and could miss something. And on top of that, the doctor cannot tell you, doesn't know, cannot read your mind, cannot sense it magically what you are truly feeling. What kind of pain, discomfort, whatever you're feeling. So you got to be honest. And if you don't know, when in doubt, ask. That is what your pediatrician and your OB-GYN and your dentist is there for. They're medical professionals. Okay? We often think we don't want to burden them, or maybe they're not as easy to access. So like I always like notice this. I've said this before, but I've noticed this in like Facebook groups. People like moms, and like, I get it. You're doing the best. Maybe you're doing the best you can, but whoever needs to hear this. You should lean into, in my opinion, should lean into your doctors way more versus asking the Facebook groups first. And I can't even give you examples because there's millions of them. And I'm not throwing shade. I'm just trying to tell you, like, hey, like, there is a lot that your doctors are responsible for. So let them do their job, okay? Don't put yourself in risk by asking non-professionals, little strangers, about what they should do. Now, I understand, like, I'm not saying never ask them, but make sure you are either going to your medical professionals first, or also, like, understand there's also an emotional thing that you want to hear, like, you're kind of not in this, like, you're in the same boat, you're not alone. And that's, of course, that support is necessary, of course. But I'm just saying, don't not lean into your medical professionals, okay? So things to think about when you're hiring your OB-GYN, okay? Like birth plan. Talk to them about the birth plan, right? And maybe you don't need one, maybe you don't want one, but just if you don't know what that means, I'm not even going to describe it because I'm not a medical professional. I want you to talk to your doctors about what that is, all right? You know, you should be checking up on things like your blood sugar levels, like making sure you don't have gestation. I can't say this word, but diabetes. Okay, I can never say it. I'm sorry. Okay, sometimes you stick to what you know. All right. And how available is your doctor? Are your doctors, pediatrician especially? Like, I want you to know, like, you should go to your pediatrician for most things, like growth, development, even parenting things, sleep, eating. All those things, learning, teaching ideas, safety things, all of those things. Once the baby's out, you do not call your OB-GYN except about yourself. You call them about yourself. But the pediatrician is all about that baby, okay? That kid just came out of you. So cute, probably, right? Yes. All right, so lean into that. All right, hold on, before I go way off track here. When you're selecting an OB-GYN, sure, you want like qualification experience, but like, you know, you have to pick someone that you feel good with. Are you okay with a guy? Are you okay with a girl? Right? what's important to you? Like, doctors are doctors. Yes, of course, they should be board certified, have credentials. And I don't know if years of experience matter to you. That might matter to you. Are they seasoned? Are they older, younger? No, seriously. And that's okay to pick someone based off on the things that you are comfortable with. Especially if you're older or in general, high risk pregnancy. Who's good with that? Or who do you feel good with? All right. Are they subspecialties that you need? Hospital affiliation. Think about that. It's not just about close by. Maybe there's a certain hospital that you would prefer to go to. Like, I didn't go to the closest hospital. I chose a hospital that was a little bit further away because I knew it was like rock star status. And I'm like, yeah, it's not that far, much farther. I want to go there. And so I had to make sure that I had a doctor that was affiliated with that hospital. So these are just things to think about, right? Okay. Do they have a NICU? But those are things you should consider before the day. All right. All right, your doctors, in general, this applies to all three, office locations and hours. When I was, just an example, I remember when I was working before I was a stay-at-home mom, there was another teacher who was pregnant, and we started work really early. I was a teacher at a school, and first period started 7:25 a.m. So contract time to be there was technically 7:10. Basically, and obviously you're there even earlier because you have to get ready, but she was able to get appointments, like their earliest appointment was like 6 or 6:30. Right now, I did not have to worry about that. Like, going to my appointments, I didn't have to worry about it. It worked out somehow. Okay. It was COVID, so things were really strange when I was pregnant. But in general, like if I was like working and pregnant, that is what I would need. You know what I mean? I need hours of work for me. So consider that. And don't settle for less. Settle for something that works for you. See that? Start diving into your authentic self, and then it'll be easier to dive into your authentic needs and your authentic wants. And then it'll be easier to pick all these people. You don't have to like overthink it. What works for you? What do you have? And not just what works on paper, but what feels right. Insurance costs, do they accept your insurance plan? You got to think about that. Communication style. Just in general, do you like talking with them? Do they treat you right? Because the thing is, you should feel good. They should be nurturing you. In my opinion, your pediatrician, your OBGYN even your dentist should be nurturing you and your little one, okay? Their approach to patient care and how they communicate matters, and you don't have to tolerate any of whatever you don't want. What you tolerate is what you get, though. Are they willing to answer questions and explain procedures? And I get it. Doctors get really busy, but this is serious, right? You're probably anxious. Maybe you're not, and that's good. That's good too. But people sometimes just don't know, right? You're a little anxious about it. I'm not sure. You're uneasy, maybe. Maybe you don't like the word anxious. Maybe you're uneasy. They should be easing your concerns. How are the support staff? Like, when I thought this was the greatest thing. Like, they have a portal. Like, can you reach them at any time? Like, because I think that's like bliss. Being able to just type in something. Great. I don't have to call, leave a message all the time. I can just like type something and my doctor can get back to me and let me know if I should come in or what. Okay. And then just availability, like office facilities. Like, do the hours work for you? And I would look into patient reviews for sure. Like, you're not going to like look up what college you're at. I mean, maybe you are, but I didn't. No. Like, what are the patient reviews? I want a rock star for all these things. Maybe family, friends. Yeah, that's a big one. Like, and ask people that are actually your people, that you trust. You like their behavior. Like, sometimes there's friends that like you don't necessarily want the same things as. And again, philosophy and birth plans, natural birth, C-sections, pain management, other birth plans. You don't even know these things. You want someone to educate you on these things. And then willingness to accommodate, because to accommodate your preferences and plans. Like, maybe you did this research before and you want to do this. Like, there are doctors out there that will say no to X, Y, and Z. Because I don't know. I can't put words into their mouth, but they won't. And yeah, they'll fight you, and they will, like, what you want will be like passed to the sideline. To the waistline. It will just dissipate. Okay? So you got to think about those things. Emergency availability, like how available are they? after hours. So like my pediatrician, this is why I think our pediatrician is amazing. First of all, they're super nice. Okay. Sometimes we have to see the nurse assistant, but they're also rock stars. Someone's always available. Let me just say that they're really organized. They do have a portal, but I can call at any time. So if I have any question, and I still have questions. Okay. If I have a question about anything concerning, like with my child, basically anything concerning my child, I'm not sure how to handle something. I'm concerned. I just have a question in general. I'm not sure what to do next. I'm looking to know what to do next, even though they told me at my last, appointment with her. I want to know. I forgot how to do something. They're always available. I can always talk to somebody to help me, and then they help me. Like, if this doesn't work, this is what you should do. And then I have someone available on call 24 hours. So like there's one time that my kid was sick, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm really concerned about this cough, and I had a question. And like obviously the time calls for running to emergencies, and I'm going to let your pediatrician explain that to you when you should go to the ER. But again, when in doubt, go, okay? Or when in doubt, go. When in doubt, call your pediatrician. But when you're looking for a pediatrician, I really think that you should get someone that has some kind of 24-hour, like their clinic does that, 24-hour availability. So like I was calling I think it was midnight, and then I did have to go to the pharmacy at 1:30 in the morning. It was 24 hour. That's another thing. Find pharmacy that's 24 hours around you. You never know. Okay. So, that's the biggest things, and I would, talk to people. I would encourage you to, check in and do the research a little bit, go through the references. And again, if you just want to see what other people are doing, do that. But the biggest thing is don't settle and break those people-pleasing curses, because you can cure it, all right? People-pleasing is a disease, and you have the ability to cure it. It takes practice, though, and it takes some massaging. Okay? Ooh, a massage. Doesn't that sound nice? It does. Get yourself a massage. All right? So all those things, you have to think about that, right? And then how they talk. Oh, this is my biggest thing. All right? I don't want to talk. There's really, these are some simple things that I wish that someone had a small conversation like this with me about. First impressions, yes, big deal to me, all right? In general, pediatrician, growth and development monitoring. Okay, those are things. But the last thing is, how my personal comfort around them. What's that personal comfort like? That is a big reason why we're seeing, we're looking for a different dentist. Because again, and it's part of my mom intuition. And you know what? I could have stayed there. I stayed there for one appointment too long. Because of course, people pleasing, and it's is this for real? I didn't really realize, do I really not like this guy? Because he was really nice. But it just, the feeling in here was deep for me. And again, I can't put it into words, but I know that I'm going to trust my gut for the sake of myself and my little one. All right, mamas. I hope that helps, okay? It's important to consider, yes, your doctor's qualifications, communication style, office location, insurance coverage, personal comfort, all right, gathering reviews, recommendations from family and friends, understanding, their views on key issues. And try to do a little of that research ahead of time so that when you go to them, you are interviewing them the first time you meet them. Okay, and assessing their emergency availability. Look into that. Ask those questions. Call them up so they can help you make an informed decision. And just so you know, you don't have to stress over this. You just do the best you can at the time. And just like I did, I have to change dentists. All right? I did the best I could. And that was off a recommendation, by the way. Just because they recommend it to you and whatever, it doesn't mean that's the medical professional for you and your family. So take the time to choose the right healthcare. Do your best and forget the rest, and just adapt as you go. All right? But take your time to choose the right healthcare providers, and you're going to get the best care for you and your baby. Okay? All right, mamas. You can do it. This is amazing. This is just one more thing. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.